Hi guys, there are many of us here. So let's begin the session. The webinar today is the topic is a very interesting topic. The topic is non-positional leadership, leading from the middle in the hierarchy in an organization. So there are some disclaimers I want to make. First disclaimer is I've assumed I've made a presupposition that all of you are working professionals. Okay. If anybody is not a working professional, do say I'm not. No, in the chat, I'll understand. Otherwise, I'm presuming that everybody is a working professional. First disclaimer. Second, I'm also presuming that all of you are positioned at different levels in the organization. Some of you are already in the leader category. Some of you are new, fresh entrants into the new stream of work culture. Some of you are positioned in the middle. So these are the presumptions which I have made. And based on those presumptions, I'm starting my webinar. See, we're all going through lockdown, so webinars have been a part of our life now. So some webinars, usually it's basically sitting through that 45 minutes of a session. So let me come to the moot point of any webinar. The purpose of a webinar, as far as I understand, is you have come here as an audience and you just want to know, why am I investing this 45 minutes? I could have as well played a game or something. So why am I investing this 45 minutes, and what is it that I'm going to take home after this webinar? Is this webinar going to change something in my work environment? Because we're talking about the work culture here. So you would be wondering if it is really going to give me something. And that is the objective which I also have in my mind. Of course, it's a fun interacting for 45 minutes with people. I love interacting with people and getting to know them. But the moot point is, this webinar talks about non-positional leadership, leading from the middle of a hierarchy in the organization, leading without a designation, not being called as a team lead or not being called as a project manager, working as a team, but working as a colleague and then outshining the entire team. Okay. And paving a way for your growth as a positional leader. I repeat, if you are working in a team as an executive, and if you want to become a team leader, then there are some strategies which you can employ right now at this level, using which you can have better chances of becoming the TL, becoming the team leader or a project manager, whatever is applicable in your case. So this webinar is about how to become a leader using the non-positional leadership route. At this stage, you may have a leader designation or you may not have it, yet how you can make your presence felt in the organization and convert it into rewards and benefits that take you ahead in your career growth. This is the central point. So we call it non-positional leadership, leading from the middle of the hierarchy in the organization. You can either be a leader or you can be in the middle. We'll go into all the details later. I would like to begin the presentation, and we'll discuss things as in how we proceed further. Let's look at the first slide of the presentation. Yeah. Now, in this presentation, wonderful. The presentation says non-positional leadership leading from the middle. There's a round circle there and so many chairs, and of course, my name and my profession. Now, let's go to the next slide. Here, guys, I want to give you a set of questions, only 6 questions. Most important thing is just 6 questions. You have to read the question and you have to answer it. You have to answer it in the chat, just like Ankita introduced you in the earlier intro. You have to write A, B, or C for each question, A, B, C, D, whichever is applicable in the chat. I'll read the question and then you have to put in your answers quickly, all of you. Question is, leadership is an inborn talent. Yes? No? Can't see. Wow, great, great. Okay, 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 awesome. Wow, I have a real good audience. Everybody's awake, huh? In the beginning, I'm glad. Okay, okay, yes, B, C, A, wow, amazing. I loved it, I loved it. Okay, yes, so many answers. Everybody's answered. Yes, Now, leadership is an inborn talent. Yes, no, can't say. The interesting thing is, many of you have answered yes, A, some have said B, some have said C. We go to the next question. Promotion means to you, there are three things in promotion: monetary benefit, higher designation, higher level of responsibility. This question is arranging those three things in the priority. What is more important? First, monetary benefit, second, higher designation, third, higher level of responsibility, or whichever way? A, B, C, D. What are your answers? Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. Yes. Yes. Okay. Very interesting. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. That's interesting. Most of the answers are falling in the C category. Majority of them, I love it. So promotion, we've done this. We go to the next slide. Okay. Yes. High level of responsibility. Another answer. Let's go to the next question. If all are done. Okay. Now, when you're called to do that work, that extra work in office, you feel, how do you feel? You can select all that apply to you, A, B, C, D, E. When you're called to do that extra work in office, you feel burdened, special, responsible, bored, want to make use and share of, oh, thank God, I'm never the person who's called in. Your answers, please. You can have multiple answers. Okay. Okay. You can have multiple answers. Great. Yes. Okay. Some more coming? Yes. Okay, okay. C, B, A, great. Okay. 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 B and C, good. Now there was one very interesting answer. Medha, I guess she said C, B, A, responsible, special, burden. That's pretty interesting. All the answers are wonderful. Okay, beautiful. Now let's go to the next question. Now they say that leadership can be cultivated. But seriously, do you believe this to be true? I mean, can you cultivate a leader? Yes, no, maybe can't say. ABC. Your answers, guys. Can leadership be cultivated? Seriously. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Okay. Good. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Majority says yes. There are some very interesting answers in the B and C category also. I like that. Great. Everybody's done. Now the next question. Now you tell me, look, ma'am, actually, I love to do extra work in office, but the thing is, there is no reward for it, no extra benefits tagged with it. So I don't feel that motivated to go and put myself into an extra work zone. Do you agree fully, partially? Do you disagree fully, partially? Partly agree, partly disagree. No, no, that's not me. Your answers A, B, C, D. Actually, I love to do extra work, but the thing is, there's no reward for it, no extra benefits. So I don't feel motivated. Okay. 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 Partly agree, partly disagree. Right. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. No, no, that's not me. Okay, cool. Zubin, right? Okay. Right. Pranjali. Okay. And done. Okay, cool. Now let's go to the last question. Do you believe that you are a born leader? Just think and answer. A, B, C. Yes, no. Ah, I never thought about this. Do you believe that you're a born leader? Wonderful. Okay, okay. Good. Great. Okay. Shraddha, Devik, Rinku, okay. Okay. Zubin, cool. Mm-hmm. Any more answers? Okay. Okay. Now that's very interesting. See, I'd like this question to stay on the screen. The majority says yes, I think I'm a born leader. And there are many who are saying no, I don't think I'm a born leader. So this is very interesting because what we are going to discuss in this webinar is all about this quality of leadership, where it is coming from, is it inbuilt or how it can be cultivated. So this is the essence of our webinar. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Great. Now we begin with the topic of our central topic, that is non-positional leadership. To start with, we are coming to what is leadership. How is a leader different from a follower? Now, the purpose of giving you these questions was, one, to ensure that all of you are awake. And beside that, also to see if we are all on the same page when we are discussing this topic. See, we are going to talk about leadership. So there are many things within you. I am already a leader. I am a born leader. I'm not a born leader. I need to cultivate many of my skills, A, B, C. These are the things that I want to build upon. I do feel in the organization that yes, I can do better and I can outshine. So now let's come to what is leadership. How is a leader different from a follower? Leadership, if I want to define it in simple terms, if you can look at this image of that colorful stairs that's going on, the person who's standing at the top of the stairs, the topmost stair, is the leader. Anybody who's standing in all the other stairs are the followers. A very, very simple definition is this. Now, this leadership is the declared designated leadership that we are talking about. A chief minister, a prime minister, a CEO, a team leader, a project manager, things, the vice president, the designated leaderships. So in designated leadership, a leader is the one who's standing on the topmost stair. Everybody else is the follower. We go to the next slide. How is a leader different from us? Now, this is what is more important for us. Okay, everybody knows what the leader is standing there at the utmost height. Okay, he's been designated. How is that leader different from us? Physiologically, that leader also has the same hands and body and the mind, the same digestive system that's going on in us. Physiologically, we're all similar. We're very same. The leader and me, we're all very. So how is it different from us? Maybe the mind is different intellectually. Maybe the way the person is analyzing things, the intellect, the way of decoding situations, the intelligence in the emotional level, the awareness level, the mindset, maybe the wisdom with which that leader perceives the entire situation. Maybe the energy of compassion which a leader has is different from what we have. Maybe the power of resilience. What is resilience? Oh, you fall down. A bad situation pulls you really down. And then how quickly you get up from that situation and come back to normalcy, that is resilience. Your spring back, fighting back. Wonderful, Shraddha. Yes, fighting back. Maybe that is what is different. So resilience, fighting back, how you fight back and how you rebound. Maybe this is what is making them different from us. Or maybe adaptability. I mean, there are some people who are so comfortable and adapt to every new situation with so much of ease. And yes, most of them are leaders. So maybe that is what is different as compared to us, between us and that leader. So maybe these are the places on which there is a difference. Welcome, Sona. Maybe these are the places, pointers in which there is a difference, right? Let's see what is the next slide. Okay, now earlier we said, what are the differences between us and the leader? Here we're saying, what are the similarities between us and the leader? Physiological similarity, of course, yes. We're all human beings. We have a heart, we have a mind, we have a body, we have a soul, we have an intelligence. The body has an intelligence, the mind has an intelligence. Yes, there's so much of, yes, welcome. There's so much of physiological similarity. Virtual knowledge base, system access, yes. Many of us have access to the system. Many of us have so much of power in the virtual world. Maybe even some of the leaders now they have it. Okay, so that is what is common between us. We're not talking only about political leaders. We're actually talking about corporate. people because we are in the corporate culture. And what are the other similarities? Access to the real world. Whole world is just a click away. The entire world is a click away today. And you guys, especially at Shenzyn, working on AI and blockchain, you know it the best. So access to real world, yes, maybe this is a similarity that is common between us and the leader. Intellectual similarity, yes. There is a kind of intellectual charisma which even we possess, which even the leader has. We are in a different level. We are operating from a different plane of our career. That's okay. But then there is an intellectual charisma that we also have. Maybe that's the similarity. Okay. Passion. Yes, maybe we are very passionate about career, about work, about building a team, about guiding people, about getting results. No, that thrill. Then enthusiasm. Maybe generally we're very enthusiastic, especially if the generation is on a younger platform. The younger generation is automatically enthusiastic. A person who's a leader, irrespective of the generation, is by default enthusiastic. Progressive mindset, yes, we also have a progressive mindset. Even during these times of lockdown, we are looking forward to so many things. We know that everything is going to pass by us too soon. And then there is so much great that's going to happen. It's progressive mindset, endurance, resilience, adaptability. Do we also have these qualities? Now, what are we discussing here? What is Indu trying to say? What I'm trying to say is there are differences between us and the leader, and there are many similarities between us and the leader. Okay, we'll take this further to the next slide. Now, in this next slide, we are coming to the core of our topic. Here, we are saying positional versus non-positional leadership. I want you all to have a look at that image, the pyramid, the colorful, beautiful pyramid, and then the colorful ring. Okay, the pyramid is the positional leadership. In a very simple way, I've tried to put it here. The pyramid is the positional leadership, the leader sitting at the top of the pyramid, and a non-positional leadership is this ring, the colorful ring, in which every person is enmeshed within the team, and somewhere here inside this ring exists the non-positional leader. If you look at both the images, yes. Now, what does it mean when we say leading from the middle hierarchy in the organization? In the pyramid, somebody is sitting at top. In the ring, the person is enmeshed somewhere in between. Title versus no title. In the example of pyramid positional leader, the leader has a title, a very coveted title. In the ring, which is being depicted, no, let's go to the previous, let's stay there, yeah. In the ring, here we are seeing that the non-positional leader is enmeshed. No particular title, but he's a part of the team. Authority versus action oriented. In terms of the positional leadership at top of the pyramid, the leader has authority. He has authoritative powers, he or she has authoritative powers. And in case of the ring, in the non-positional leadership, authority is not there, but then she is action oriented. This non-positional leader is action oriented. Her actions are speaking louder than her designation. Then leading by position versus leading by example. In the case of the top-down approach, in the positional leadership, the leader is sitting at the top of the pyramid, and here the leading is done by position because already is a designated leader. Whereas in the non-positional, it is by example. Designed role maker versus inner calling doer. In the positional leadership, he's a designated role maker, and in the non-positional leadership, the person has his inner calling, his or her inner calling, which is making him or her do certain tasks which make them outshine as a non-positional leader. Guys, the caveat here is I'm not saying that a positional leadership, a positional leader doesn't possess these qualities of inner calling or action oriented. No, I'm not saying that, not at all. What I'm trying to say is a positional leader has all these qualities. A non-positional leader has these qualities, but doesn't necessarily have a title or an authority or a position or a designated role, or doesn't even have the power of dictating the rules of the working. in that particular zone where he or she is working. A positional leadership can dictate, whereas a non-positional leadership will actually work through take people together and work instead of dictating, designating, and taking people together, certainly. But this is the difference. I hope this you found it interesting. The positional versus non-positional leadership. Here, let's keep to this screen. And Ankita, would you like to pose in some questions?
Sure. So the question comes here is as if imagine a leader who is already leading a small team, or he's not like at a beginning level, but somewhere in the middle. So he already has some responsibilities. So how is this entire module kind of help that person also, because he or she is already on the leadership position? So how does it help them?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. We all heard what Ankita says. She says there's a person who's already a designated leader, somewhere in the middle level. Yes, that person can benefit from NPL. Now, a designated leader has two advantages. One is they have a title. The other advantage is they have a defined set of work that they have to cater to, right?
Right.
On the other side, the designated leader has two disadvantages. The first disadvantage is the designated leader usually encloses oneself into a precisely defined shell, which means this is the square in which I am going to operate, and I'm not going to try anything outside this straitjacket approach. This is one disadvantage which the designated leader has. And the other disadvantage which the designated leader has is once when somebody has been designated and has got a title, after beginning to work in that zone, the person, I have got this feedback from people, they say, yes, this is what actually I wanted. I always wanted to be this particular designation in this middle rank, and I have to go further. But then, there is something, there are things which I want to explore and I want to expand. I want to become more versatile. Now, in these two situations, when the person is too much concreted in that particular position, and when the person also wants to develop a versatile personality, non-positional leadership comes in. The person who is already a designated middle term leader can explore, can increase the versatility of one's own personality, can go out of that fixated zone and evolve without hampering any other person's designation, without infringing any other person's growth, and doing it voluntarily. Does that answer?
Right. Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, thanks. So this is one of the examples which she discussed about a leader who is an existing leader in the middle level. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. Now, we're talking about non-positional leadership. Okay, you are out to become a non-positional leader and you got to present yourself in the organization in such a manner that you get recognized for what you're doing. But then there is one thing which is our innate conditioning. Human beings, all of us, you, me, everybody around us, we are conditioned. We are conditioned. You can see this image at the lower level, like, dislike, 5 star, 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1 star. Look at that face, that smiley, that smiling, and that reverse smile. We all are conditioned. We are conditioned to reward. We are conditioned to criticism. We are conditioned to praise. We are conditioned to critiques. This is our human primordial mind nature. Now, what we need to know is what role this mind nature plays in non-positional leadership. We'll stay in this screen, and there are some points which I want to mention, which actually I want you to bring your thought zone into this point. Uh, I hope everyone is awake. Yeah, okay. So, now where are you placed in your career? You got to see where am I placed in my career, you know it. Now you tell me, has someone ever copied your skills, copied your tricks, copied your hacks? Have you fumed? Oh my God, look at him. He again copied my trick. That was my idea. That person copied me. Oh, that was my hack. How dare she copy it? How dare she go and show it to the world that it's hers? Yes, okay. Otherwise, does it happen that you have a particular way of carrying yourself, your dress sense, or your body language, your personality, the way you vibe, and people usually pick it up, they copy, they mirror what you're doing, they try to imitate you, and then sometimes you really get infuriated. I mean, that was my style. Why did you go and get that particular thing which I was using? Why did you also go and get that bag? Why did you also go and get that pen stand, that same pen, or this or that, and things like that? Now, these are very common examples of life. There's another example, like for example, suppose you work very fast in the organization. You're very quick at typing mails or emails and things like that. And what somebody's done is, they just copy your emails and copy paste and then just modifying it, sending it faster than you. Now that's really infuriating you. Okay, so that really hinders your mental peace. Otherwise, let's say somebody, sometimes maybe there have been situations where you have gone to a particular event, even in the office, within the office culture, and somehow something you have said, and people seem to agree, people seem to nod, yes, yeah, that's cool. They might not say, they might not tell you exactly, okay, I mean, how should we praise this person? Okay, no. But then they seem to echo what you're saying. They seem to get slightly influenced by you. Okay. Otherwise, maybe sometimes there are some colleagues in your tool who are, you find that they have that innate natural respect for you. Yes. Yeah. So you have that innate respect, which suddenly you find from people around you. Okay. Now, while we're talking about these points in innate conditioning, the way you handle these situations, the way you handle rewards, the way you handle criticism, the way you handle praise, critique, the way you handle when people ape you, copy your hack, copy your tricks, copy your ideas, or just, do exactly what you're doing. The way you handle these things will define what is the scope of your becoming a non-positional leader or sans it. Which means, what is a non-positional leader basically? A non-positional leader is someone who has a way of doing things, and somehow everybody picks it up. Everybody wants to do it the same way like that person did. That hack was awesome. Immediately copy paste. This is a copy paste life today, culture. Immediately copy paste. That was good. I'm also going to do that. I'm going to dress up like that. I'm going to write like that. I'm going to send a mail like that. I'm going to keep my files like this. These are, we have a habit of reacting to these unspoken, very subtle recognitions that we get. Now, the way we react to these unspoken so-called compliments decides if we are going to be a non-positional leader or we are just going to be in the herd. Like the other day, I wrote in one of the days I wrote in LinkedIn, like if somebody is copying, if you put a very nice hack, and if somebody copies you within 5 minutes, instead of fuming, a very sane, sensible person would simply say, okay, Indu, you inspired them. That's what I'll tell myself and move on. And then I'll recognize, okay, there's something about me that is influencing people around me. There is something about me that people are copying. They're getting, there is a different perspective of looking at things. From here, the birth of the non-positional leader begins. So we have special emphasis on innate conditioning. We see how we respond to reward, criticism, praise, critique, how our mind operates, and see how by just changing the way we approach these praises and criticisms and appreciations and these copying behaviors of others, the way we handle it will guide us in the direction of a non-positional leader. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So some bit we have understood what a non-positional leader is, but before going to a non-positional leader, you must be wondering, look, Indu, actually I am working in the team as the executive and I want to become a team leader, period. I want that title. Like you asked in that question, What is more important? More responsibility, higher responsibility, monetary benefit, higher designation. I want all that. I mean, I don't want to work like like an unknown leader. Now, in that scenario, let's come to the evolution cycle of a positional designate leader. If you look around any positional designate leader, if you are one of them, and you must be knowing this is what must have happened in your own life. And if you're surrounded by people who are leaders, the team leaders, the managers, and etc., the CEOs and the VPs and so on, if you look at them, you will find these things which are common. If you want to know how a future leader is born, there is one fundamental truth of leadership. Every positional leader was a non-positional leader initially, period. Every positional leader was a non-positional leader initially. The team leader that you see around you, okay, that was the person who was working in the group, in the team, who had the ability to show their one's innate skills, one's way of working, show the smart skills, and from there, that person got selected and became the team leader. Initially, that team leader or that CEO or that VP was initially a non-positional leader. That is how important an NPL journey is going to be for your life. If you want, everybody wants to be a positional designate leader. Let's accept it. Everybody wants that title. And why not? What's wrong in that? Of course, you need a title and you need a nice designation. And that's cool. So if you want that, your journey begins here. Your journey begins as a non-positional leader, because a future leader is born today, and that future leader is today's NPL, today's non-position leader. I like to stay here, and maybe Ankita, you must be wanting to ask something, right? Some question?
Sure. So as long as we're talking about a future leader, it's often seen that so there's a team leader and there are a couple of teammates working together, eyeing for that position to become a future leader, and the responsibilities are equally given to both of them. And at the end of the day, there is a race, and there's someone is going to step up and take the position of that leader. So at the same time, what are the additional or a few things that the teammates can do to kind of be actively ahead in that race, and then
Yeah,
see how do we
wonderful.
kind of go to that senior position? How do we do
Yeah,
that?
wonderful. Very, very interesting question. What she's saying is, now there are two people who both are trying to become NPLs, non-position leaders, and who both are working in the team, and both of them are trying to become that non-position leader. And both of them are making the same efforts. Both of them are getting same recognition from their seniors. They are being given special work, and they're getting all that. And both of them are running at the same pace in the race, and one of them is naturally going to become the team leader. So how do, if you are one of them and there is another one who's running at the same pace with you, how do you handle that? Let's go back to our kiddo days. We all have played musical chair, right? Everybody has played musical chair. When there's that music which is going on, we all are running to grab that chair, and when the music stops, one of us is left out, all the others have occupied the chair. That's the same pace with which a non-positional leadership race is also taking place. To add to this, suppose there are two people, suppose Ankita and I, we both are working in the same organization, we both have similar designations, and we both are running in the same race for team leader, and we both are good people, good working workers, and both of us get good appreciation from our organization. Then either Ankita has to show her expertise in such a manner that she first becomes my non-positional leader, or Indu has to make her work excel in such a manner that Indu, in a very subtle manner, becomes Ankita's non-positional leader. The first victory which these two girls want to have is above each other. First, Indu should become Ankita's NPL, or Ankita should become Indu's NPL. Whoever is able to overtake the other one, not in a very rustic, rude manner, but with work skills and by taking them together. Whoever is able to do that stands the chance to win the race. Does that answer?
Correct. Yeah, makes sense. Right.
Okay, yeah. So now let's take the evolution cycle of a positional designated leader. And always remember the truth of leadership is every positional leader was a non-positional leader initially. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now we come to the essence of this story. Now you want to know, okay, Indu, I have understood what you're saying, makes sense, I got it. Okay, I should present myself as a non-positional leader. I should excel if I want to grab that next title. Maybe I am a team leader and I'm trying to get that next title at the higher level. Or maybe I'm a starter and I want to become a TL. So I have understood all that. Now tell me how to do it, how to go about it, right? Non-positional team champion. If you look at the title, it says non-positional team champion. Team champion. This person is working in the team and is outshining the team and trying to present oneself as the champion in the team. These are the qualities of an NPL. The most important quality of an NPL is, if you are finding this interesting, guys, I want you to write this down, this first point, which is the secret behind the science of volunteering. Just write this title so that you remember this word. First and foremost, a non-positional leader is a volunteer. This is the first and final quality of a team non-positional leader, of the team champion. He or she is a volunteer. Now, what is a volunteer? Okay, we've heard this word quite often. Can you please volunteer for this? Can you please volunteer for that? Can you organize this meeting? Can you send this mail? Can you do this? Can you do that? An office is filled with moments of volunteering initiatives. Somebody has to arrange this event. Somebody has to send mails to everybody. Somebody has to take notes. Somebody has to make the minutes of the meeting. It's full of volunteering opportunities. An office is a powerhouse of volunteering opportunities if you look at it from this angle. An office is full of volunteering opportunities. So the first thing, if you are wanting to become the non-positional leader, you are wanting to become a designated leader tomorrow. So today you have to start from the non-positional level. If you want to do this, you have to work on volunteering. The secret behind the science of volunteering is very simple. You stop rating the quality of volunteer work that is available. Period. You stop rating it. You stop saying, this I don't want to do, this I want to do. You stop choosing. If you want to become a non-positional leader, then the secret of science of volunteering is you stop being selective. Because there are two people already running in the race, sometimes you may decide to leave something which the other person might pick up, and from there that person will gain momentum. That will be the last lap of the MotoGP, and that person will land at the team leader opportunity first, and you will miss the bus big time. So the secret behind science of volunteering is simple. Don't be a selective volunteer, period. Right? Then there are some very important qualities of the team champion. The team champion, first of all, is working in a team, in an organization, in the team. There are many co-team workers, there are many teammates with him or her. The team, the volunteer, the NPL volunteer knows how to yield, is not rigid. Oh, I want, I'll do this work. I'll do all this work. Please tell me what is to be done. Okay, you have to do this. You have to send these emails, and you have to personally go and deliver this particular thing to that particular office. Oh, I'll send the emails. But don't ask me to go and do that visit. I'm not a field work girl. I won't do that field work thing. I'll just do the emails. Gone. You have been selective. Now somebody else is going to win the race. Okay, so the team champion volunteer knows how to yield, and the team champion leads without imposing will on others. This is applicable to the teammates. Now, the team champion is working in a team. He or she has to become an NPL in the team. So the person develops the art of getting the work done by his or her teammates without forcing them into it. Yield without imposing will. Caring for every teammate, genuinely impartial. No partialities. A volunteer can't be partial. Volunteer meaning is impartiality. You can't be partial. You have to care for every teammate. The moment you become partial, the other person who is running in the race will take ahead. So you'll lose it. The team champion is joyful, cheerful, enthusiastic, inclusive, compassionate. The team champion is present silently within the teammate's comfort zone. He or she is not a threat to the team. That person is operating very silently, the NPA. Available to all people in the organization, doesn't reject anyone. Oh, everybody's making mockery of this particular new employee. Ignore that person. No, that's not the quality of a volunteer. That's not inclusiveness. That's not a non-positional leader. A non-positional leader is operating from the heart. Okay? Yes. And then some more points here. Merged with all team members, doesn't manipulate, has simplicity, patience, flexibility. Now let's go to the next screen. This is becoming a non-positional leader, the flow chart. We can go through all the further screens fast because it is the expansion of the flow chart. So how to go about it? The next slide will show you the topmost icon. It says self-acknowledgement. Yes, I'm in the path of becoming an NPL. First, acknowledge it yourself. Next you say, am I a designate leader presently? You go further. If you are already a designate leader, what are the things that you can do? Next slide. What are things you can do? I'll search for philanthropy or volunteering options at higher levels. I'll also look into positional leadership appraisal routes. What's the next step in my life? And next slide, if you're not a positional leader yet, then I'll search for opportunities of soft leadership and activities at my junior level, peer teammate level, and keep an eye on seniors who are giving tasks or delegating tasks. And remember the hierarchical structure of the organization. Next. Then I'll see if someone giving me extra work or is someone calling a volunteer in the organization. Then if yes, then what do I do? Next slide. Okay, great. I get a chance to show my leadership skills again. So let me go do that extra work, take responsibility and make my presence felt. Then we go to the next chart. And if no, then we loop back. Okay, so we go to the next slide. Now here we summarize the next slide. Here we say, okay, non-positional leadership is learning to lead from the middle, leading from the middle, establishing oneself as a non-positional leader, paving way for future leader opportunities, and going into the conventional designation. With this, we come to the summary of the presentation, the last sheet. Here, I have kept some very small things. If you want to work in the direction of becoming an NPL, then you have to make some note sheets, make a self-feedback note sheet, make a praise ledger, who has praised you, who has given compliments to you, make a critique ledger, make a delayed gratification ledger, make a pain point reactivity ledger, and so on. And that's it. With this, we end this presentation. And I'd like, Ankita, can we have some questions if somebody is interested in asking some questions before we wind up?
Sure. Thank you so much, Indu, for that. And we have last 5 to 10 minutes to answer in case you have any questions. So please type in your questions in the chat box and we'll be able to take it from there.
Okay, let's see. Can an NPL act like a micromanager? Oh, yes, certainly. The path of the NPL begins from a micro level. It is from the micro to the macro level. A micromanager, not a designate micromanager, a micromanager who's working without a designation becomes an NPL. Yes?
Right. So, Indu, you mentioned about how on the way of becoming NPL, you don't really choose the kind of responsibilities you want to take. You just go ahead with whatever is thrown at you, and then you kind of strive and go ahead with that. But then the general perception about the people who take initiatives in everything, and go ahead and have special bonds with the leaders, are looked at someone who maybe he's a little chamcha, or he or she is doing additional stuff to come in people's attention or notice. So there's always a group of people who will mock the people who take initiatives. So if you are a person who likes to take initiatives, but you have teammates who do something like this, how do you kind of come out from that?
Very interesting and a very common situation. People say,
Right.
okay, they say, I'm a favorite in the boss's zone and the senior zone, and people call me I'm a chamcha. But the thing is, if somebody is calling you some name, there is some, looking within which needs to be done. Because if somebody is calling you some name, maybe there has been some situation where you have given into that kind of a thing. That's why you have been tagged. You have to accept that, okay, sometime I must have done something like that, must have shown off, must have done something. So, they've tagged me. But maybe that was long back when I just began as an NPL earlier. I thought this chamchagiri is what will help me. But then I learned that no, chamchagiri doesn't work, and skill is what gets rewarded. And now my seniors are respecting for my skills, but people are still tagging me to that. So you have to accept that, okay, once upon a time I had done that. And then what you have to do is you have to really work within your team and prove it to them that, yes, नहीं यार आजकल चमचा नहीं है. Okay, she's changed or he's changed. अब चमचागिरी नहीं करता. You will have to make them sense, and that only you can do it with your work, with your actions.
Right. We can take one or two questions from the audience. So in case you have anything, please put it in the chat box. Okay.
Hi, Indu. Sonam.
Yes, hi. Yeah,
Hi.
okay, please say.
Indu, interesting topic. And Ankita asked a very interesting question, right? Which is when people start tagging you. But what happens, sometimes in the organizations, it may not be necessary that someone did something worthy to get tagged, but, some kind of stuff which continues in the organizations and still people give you names. So how do you deal with it? Because when you start getting names and when you are aware of your surroundings, and just to stay with the team and stick with the larger group, you kind of give in and you don't want to volunteer because you don't want to get tagged. And trust me, with no fault of yours.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do you
Yeah.
then still differentiate such situations and still go for it? Because if you're not going for it, you are losing on it.
Exactly, big time, big time. Okay. See, Poonam, the first thing is we all are computer professionals working with computers all the time. So let's realize one thing: life hasn't given us an undo button. We cannot just, do something and undo it. First, we cannot undo it. Now, this is applicable to both ends. Like, suppose you are the one who's tagged me. Now, I cannot undo what you have done already. So, what one has to do is let bygones be bygones and make a clean slate, start again, and decide what is more important. Now, if you call me names, I will have to decide what is more important. Poonam's calling me names, tagging me, or my personal growth at the end of the day. I mean, what matters to me? What is more important? What will give me inner peace? That they were tagging me, so I ran away from the scene? Or, okay, everybody's calling me names, there is a group which is trolling me, but then I'm proving myself. And that satisfaction is what takes me into the inner peace zone. So I will have to decide what is more important: Poonam's calling me names, tagging me, and my leaving it, or first I try to prove it to you that you're wrong up to a level, but then sometimes you don't argue with people who don't understand. wisdom says don't argue with people who are not able to understand. Leave it. So what you do is now you don't focus outward, you focus inward, you look at yourself and you decide, let anybody call me anything. People call you names from head to toe. Forget it. What is more important to you? What is more important to me? I want to grow. I want to take up volunteering. I want to do the work. And that's what is going to drive. You have to make a choice because this is from where you can evolve. You can either stick on to the negatives and let it put you down and just lie flat on the ground, or you can keep it aside, take it in your stride and go ahead. Like that but a very famous quote, they threw stones at me and I used it to make a pathway. So that is real. Leaders have had this in their lives, Martin Luther's and Pietals, they have had it in their lives. And people who can actually uh, dive against the wind are the ones who can make the way, even at the non-positional level. Does that answer?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Indu.
Oh, thank you. Zubin is asking, what are the top three challenges? One sec. What are the top three challenges faced by an NPL? For example, an NPL may not be recognized when he or she wants it. Yes, Zubin, that is the biggest tragedy. When you volunteer, when you work without a designation, the biggest thing is you may not get, like there's this phenomena, the doormat phenomena in the NPL. Non-positional leaders usually come back and they say, there's this doormat phenomena. I proved my smart skills and I outshined everyone else. And my seniors started recognizing me. And then they kept on giving me more responsibility and I kept on delivering. My smart skills were used and everything. But I was not given any tangible recognition. I didn't get what I want. Actually, I was expecting a little bit of, let's say, monetary benefit, a promotion, a recognition, an appraisal. I didn't get that. And now the feeling that is there with me is I have proven my smart skills. Seniors have taken cognizance of me. And then now I'm suffering because I'm not getting recognized. And still I have to keep on doing the smart skill work because I have proven myself. Now, the three challenges, one, you can be treated as a doormat. Second, people may take advantage of you. Everybody is not same. There are some people who really take advantage of others. So that is another challenge. You have to understand when to go ahead, when to stop. You have to realize this far and no further. If it's not working, just draw the line. Just draw the line. Let situations emerge. Just draw the line, stop doing it. And the third thing is, the challenge for an NPL is to accept that the person is leading from the middle. So that person, somebody can overtake the NPL. This is the third challenge which an NPL has to be prepared for. So usually what very smart NPLs do is they take people along and they start training people even from below level. They start training new NPLs so that they are not shortchanged and they are prepared for someone taking the place and walking ahead. So these are the three challenges which presently come to my mind. There are many, but these are the three that are striking a chord presently in my mind. Does that answer?
Right. I think we will take one last question, Indu. Can NPL question and challenge the leader's decision, and maybe at what capacity?
Yeah, today when I opened the newspaper, the first thing I saw was 116th birth anniversary or anniversary of JRD Tata, the legend JRD Tata. And then there was a QR code, I scanned it, and then I went to the website of Tata Steel, and then there was an article and there was a video, there was an interview of JRD Tata, the one and only interview.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it early in the morning today, and the first thing that the very, very important thing which JRD Tata has said is, a leader, when a leader speaks, it really comes from the depth. He says that I have been a leader, but I have the ability to have understanding of the consensus. I always take the consensus along. He said, and he says that as a leader, I have learned in my life, and I've learned it very positively, that sometimes there are lower than your designate level, but then they give such wonderful challenges and suggestions that initially I have tried to counter them, says J.R.D. Tata. I have tried to counter them. And then when I have realized that even if I try to counter them, they are able to convince me with their challenge, then I have allowed them to go ahead with their ideas. This is what J.R.D. Tata says. I heard it early in the morning today, and maybe that's the answer for what you're asking. Yes, we can challenge. If you have a very illuminating idea, if you have a very illuminating way of doing something, you can challenge. Yes, the courtesy remains, the etiquettes have to be in place. You can present it in a beautiful manner. The only caveat is you must remember really and feel it within that you're not trying to insult the leader. You're just trying to say that, there has been a flash in my mind, there is a mind wave which I want to share. And you must present it. Because if a legend like J.R.D. Tata says that I like it and I have accommodated, he says he has accommodated many such suggestions and challenges in Tisco, his yesteryears. So I think it's worth it. What's it?
Right, absolutely. Thank you, Indu. I don't see any more questions, but audience, in case you have any questions, I'm very sure that you can connect with Indu through LinkedIn. And in case you have any questions, you can directly get in touch with her and she'll be more than happy to answer all the remaining questions. Having said that, thank you so much, Indu, for taking out time and doing this session. It was really informative and a lot of new things we could learn from this session. Audience, thank you so much for attending today's session. Any last words, Indu, before we close in for today?
Uh, do become an NPL because it's worth it. It'll give you satisfaction here. An NPL leader works from the heart, not from the mind. And it's always a better thing to rule the heart than to rule the mind. So try to become an NPL. You'll really feel good.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Indu. Thank you, audience. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.